of your body, speech, and mind. The next 10 or so rings are to establish that there's a transition from your ordinary body, speech, and mind into the extraordinary natural mind. And that's called the Om Ah Hum that we use for the transmission, or Ha Ho Kri. There's different syllables. But that's the last 3 rings. Those are in another dimension of your consciousness. And they're not in our drama field. That's what this class is for, to bring them, help you to bring yourself so that you can understand and use these methods and symbols. When we do these practices, they fall into 2 categories of sutra and tantra in the Tibetan tradition. And also because of the introduction of my teacher, Kala Rinpoche, who was originally a Bon Po, which means a medical teacher, he mixed that with the Tibetan tradition that came from India of the Sutra and Tantra. So that's how we come to do the 5 elements for healing practice. And we're going to do that tonight, of course. And then the transmission is given through the body, speech, and mind of the teacher, which is any Lama, man or woman on the planet today, of any of the traditions that survived China's takeover of Tibet. But you must understand that it's presented as extraordinary mind training, whether it be Sutra or Tantra. Sutra is available to most people that are interested in that, which isn't very many humans on the planet. And the Tantra is available to an extraordinary few that have the ability, the leisure time, and support to do the Tantric practices. And all of this together is simply to bring you to your natural state of consciousness, which you're not using now. You might delve into it in certain ways with psychotropic drugs and sex and near-death experiences and extreme physical activity, but you're not trained to accept it as a valuable part of your stream of being, but it's actually a state of happiness. It's a state of lasting happiness. Where here we are here in the 7.5 billion humans on this planet in a state of what we call temporal happiness. The word temporal means temporary. And everybody's in that state, and you know you're in that state because one day you're happy, the next day you're sad. Or one day everything's all right, and the next thing is all dark. Or one day you're alive, the next day you're dead. Out of the body. Healthy, then sick. So that's called temporal. Now that's everybody. So we got all the animals on the planet, all the humans on the planet, and all of the spirit world. So we want to bring that all together into these practices for healing. And our form of Buddhism is not religion. It's only meant to heal. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. To start the process, we want to invoke the lineage of the teachers, which have been around for 2,600 years or longer, so that they are part of our support. And then we want to invoke the Lama, who's giving the methods of how to do this, along with the transmission, or what we call the empowerment, to aid us in our practice so that we progress rapidly towards maturity. Maturity is called Buddhahood. It simply means that a human being is already in that state, but they have to acknowledge it, start using it. So we're already potential Buddha. So all you have to do is acknowledge and start doing the practice. More and more you connect to that. Then you become one of the 2 types of human beings. Most people are ordinary. We call normal. I mean, they don't act normal, but normal, ordinary. But the other state is extraordinary and easy to recognize those men and women who are extraordinary. And some of them are monks and nuns, some of them are like me, householder, Lama, some are actually yogis and yoginis hanging out in what we call natural situations in retreats. So to connect to this, we start with our own pure nature as an invocation, our natural mind, our Buddha nature, which we already have that. It's inherent. So we're going to read this prayer. And it is the Shangpa Kagyu lineage prayer, which Kagyu Lamas, there's 12 lineages survived China's takeover. And we follow those. And we're Rime, so all the other lineages are valuable, but this one is the one we specialize in. So the first part of the invocation is connecting to the primordial Buddha Vajradhara, which is simply your innate nature, and that's where you are, and that's where you're going with these practices. So we say that, primordial Buddha Vajradhara. This is an invocation of the lineage. Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, he's 2,600 years ago, introduced him. Then we have the exalted Narayana, then Guru Rinpoche Padmasambhava, and his consort, the Bliss Queen Geshe Choiga, Lord Maitreya, Mahasiddhi Varupa, Wisdom Dakini, Sukha Siddhi, Taloka, Naropa, Marpa, Lodapa, Venerable Milarepa, Rainbow Body, Nekuma, Jumpo Naljor, Ladron Glorious Kampopa, Mochupa, Mahasiddhi Gangama, Tanye Nankopa, Tai Siddhi Rinpoche, Karma Norgu Lodro Tai, Omniscient Karmapa, Wondrous Kalo Rinpoche, Lama Tenzin Lama Combination, and the present Lama giving the class Nami Tashi Dundla. So that's all invoked. Now, of course, I'm present, but you just brought all the others into your presence. They don't go into the rebirth situation like ordinary humans. And then they're always available to help with your practice. Then we read on. Supplication to this direct lineage Lamas of the Kagyu Masters. This is the profound path of Mahamudra. I pray I am following your lineage. Grant your blessing so that I may achieve perfect liberation in this lifetime. Revulsion is the foot of meditation, as is taught. To this meditator who is not attached to food or wealth, who cuts the ties to this life. Grant your blessing that I have no desire for honor or gain. Devotion is the head of meditation, as is taught. The Lama opens the gate to the treasury of oral instruction. To this meditator who continually supplicates the Lama, grant your blessing that genuine devotion be born in my heart. Awareness is the body of meditation, as is taught. Whatever arises is free and fresh, the essence of realization. To this meditator who rests simply without altering it, grant your blessing so that my meditation is free from conception and thoughts. The essence of the thoughts is Dharmakaya, as is taught. Nothing whatsoever, but everything arises from it. To this meditator who rises in the unceasing play, grant your blessing so that I may realize the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. You embody the gross and subtle channels, the dakas and dakinis, all root in lineage lamas, as well as the three jewels, O Karmapa, Kalayan Rinpoche, Lama Tashi Drupal, and all the others. I implore you to bestow on me the wisdom of bliss and voidness. Throughout all my births, may I not be separated from the perfect Lama, and so enjoy the splendor of the Dharma. And perfecting the virtues of the 5 paths and 10 bhumis, may I speedily attain the state of Vajradhara, which is your natural mind, your innate natural mind. Now, why is this prayer so important? It's the power of it. To have this as a support. Mentioned, I said you have to have ability, leisure time, and support. You already have the inclination. That in itself is extraordinary because 7.5 billion humans don't have the inclination to connect with intention to their natural state. But there are a few that do, so we are. It's necessity to have the ability to do the practice. That means you got to have your physical and mental working. You have to have leisure time because it takes practice. And you have to have support. Well, the outer support is what we're connecting to with these first prayers of this lineage prayer and the practice. The inner support is established by you actually practicing whatever method you are taking on. So we start with the altruistic motivation that all beings are in this with us together to connect to this natural mind. So we say that. This is called the refuge. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now altogether take refuge and, if possible, offer prostration. We go for refuge to all glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all yiddas or the deities gathered in the mandalas that we practice. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all our noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis, or the protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. Alden Lama Dampa Namla Chatsu Jio Yedam Chokor Gilaso Namla Chatsu Jio Sanjay Chon Dende Namla Chatsu Jio Tampe Chur Namla Chatsu Jio Tape Gendu Namla Chatsu Jio Kawo Kandro Chosung Sume Sho Yeshe Ki Sendang Dempa Namla Chatsu Jio. And then we do the Bodhisattva prayer, bringing voidness and actual practice of the 6 disciplines together. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing these 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Dangye Chodang Choki Chodang La Jengchu Baju Nagi Chatsu Si Dagi Jinso Gipe Sonam Jola Pencher Sanjay Jupam So. The Sanskrit is absolutely necessary to not only empower your speech with prayers, mantra, and practice, but it also communicates to the various cultures with the same language based on what we call appearances, or the way things are patterned, the way things emanate energy and light. And that's the nature of the Sanskrit language, but more importantly, that's how it went from India to Tibet. That's how it got to Tibet, to America. And when I started these practices, the Lamas told me I had to learn Sanskrit. Well, I'm not a student, I don't have much memory, so I learned a few prayers, memorized over a long period of time, just saying them over and over. But when I got to the retreat situation, Lama San saying, if you're going to be in this retreat, you have to be able to read these texts in Sanskrit. So he put me on a week-long retreat doing what is called the Manjushri practice, which is to bring the recall of whatever I needed to know, in this case, how to read Sanskrit, read these texts, And so after 1 week, I did the retreat the way he instructed it. And when I went back to him, he says, now we're going to do this, we're going to read this Sanskrit text. And so I sat beside him and he said, take your finger and point to the first word and say after me. So he went along the first line and he's saying the word and I said the word and he said the word and I said the word. And I'm looking at each of these words. And then he went to the second line. And this went on for a while. Then he says, now, take your finger away. Now read along with me. So we're reading along, and after a while, I knew the word before he said it. And so he kept reading, and he stopped chanting, and I kept reading. And he says, okay, you're in. I said, huh? He says, you're reading Sanskrit. Now you can read all these texts. I said, yeah, but I don't understand. Oh, he says, we'll just do more Manjushri practice. You'll understand. But he says, you must understand what this means when you do these practices. So I says, well, later on when I was actually doing the practices, he said, do the first session in the morning, 2.5 hours, do it entirely in Sanskrit, mantras, read it all. The next set, do it in English, except for the mantra. I'll show you what to do with the moves and all of that, the certain mudras and stuff. But he says, do the next 3 sessions in your language. And in that way, I understood. But more importantly, it was easier for me to take it to heart, not based on faith. This is not a religion. You want to know this stuff. Not just for your own collection of information. You want to know how to express it to others and advise them. You know, at least tell them what you're doing so they can understand it. Like my family is all Catholics and Christians, and I said, well, what I'm doing is, first vow is I'll never go into heaven. Huh? Yeah. You can't take refuge if you connect to worldly spirit. This isn't about that. This isn't about more drama. That's what worldly spirits do. They're just a big drama field, like animals and us humans. So you have to take refuge with your own nature as represented by symbols, not actual beings. That's a hard one to get because I was doing all these various so-called shamanistic practices. So, when we do these practices, taking refuge is to connect to your highest natural mind.
That's okay.
Abby,
Go. It's okay. It's okay. Just walk across. We'll edit it.
Now, when we say the 6 perfections in Tibetan Buddhism, we're talking about the discipline of a bodhisattva. Now, a bodhisattva is not an ordinary human being. If you're saying if you're a bodhisattva, you're extraordinary. Why? Because your intention is to bring all the beings, humans, animals, and spirits in the whole universe to maturity. Well, just saying that's extraordinary. I mean, nobody does that. That's a lot of responsibility. You're just saying that, you know. Well, how would you accomplish such a thing? Well, you have to have some understanding of the basic aspect of creation itself. And the first concept is, first of all, we're conditioned to believe everything's separate from birth, having taken birth. We believe that everything that we see, smell, taste, touch, and think about is out there, separate. Well, that's not true. The universe doesn't operate that way. Everything is created by interconnection. It's created what we call compound nature. A whole bunch of stuff comes of things come together and make this, make that, make an atom, make a body, make a planet. It can't be separate. Earth, water, fire, and air are all integrated into our body in what we call the mother element of space. But everything in the universe is that way. So we're all interconnected. That's the first concept. And if you practice Buddhism, you will have a very profound realization that what I'm saying is true. Up to that point, you just kind of got to go have a little trust. Not faith, just trust. The second concept that you're conditioned to believe starts with that idea of separation, that this whole thing is real. Well, scientifically, that's not true. Why do you, I mean, they're making things with Google glasses so you can have things appear out here in front of you, computers and all kinds of stuff. They call it 3D, going to a movie theater, and you're ducking what's going out of the screen. Well, that's the way this universe is. You want to believe it's real. So if you believe that, then you're going to emotionally react to that. That's what the trouble is. Because if you believe it's real, you're going to judge what you're sensing, something's good. That starts the emotional program. Oh no, I don't like that. That's bad. Judgment arises. And it arises naturally, right from birth, right from everybody around you. They're all judging you. They're all laying your emotional trips on you. You know, you go around seeking power in all these power places, and the spirits are going to lay their trip on you. They're not very nice. Okay? You get out in the wilds of the animal world's going to lay its trip on you. You're going to a city, everybody in that city's out to do something to you, get something out of you. See? Yeah. But it doesn't take too much intelligence to figure out that what the basic concepts that we've been conditioned to believe are not only not true, but not workable. And they cause physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual suffering. All the religions, all of the social programs of the planet do that. Oh, including Buddhism. So we have to have a form of practice that cuts that. Cuts that idea of separation, cuts that judgment habit. So you slowly start less and less good, bad. You stop saying everything's divine and supernatural, depending on some spirit world, entity, God or goddess. That's not workable. We call them the arrogant gods and goddesses. They don't care about us. They're locked into their drama as tightly as rich and famous people are on this planet. So we abandon that. Military, out to lunch. Corporations, out to lunch. Okay? Family structures, collapsing. But it's not workable. Because they think everything's separate and everything, judging everything, and oh yeah, you're a shithead and you're a good person. You have to do it the way I do. It's what they want you to do. I woke up as a teenager. Most teenagers never wake up. They were teenagers their whole life. But I woke up luckily when I was about 16. And I said, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm not going to the university. My dad wanted to put me in the university to become a doctor. Very rich. I'm not going to dig ditches. But at the same time, I'm not going to be, a bum out to lunch with no home or anything. So I had to work it out without support. But as soon as I decided that, I found out another kind of support started rising. And it was starting to come from inside. And it just kept growing. It just kept growing. And wow, every day up until now, it's wow. See? So that's your natural mind. And that's nature, too. That's the way nature is. You go to the beach, wow. Look in the sky, you see the clouds, wow. Get up on the mountains, the trees and waterfalls. Unbelievable. I make mandala offerings all day. Whether I'm inside or outside. Luckily, I'm outside a lot. So this refuge is to start you to break these conditioned concepts that cause pain and suffering. And then do it in such a way that you have an outside support group to help you break these habitual fixations. They're called dualistic fixations. Self, which doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a self. There's no such thing as a soul. None of that. There's no such thing as anything separate, so that means the objects themselves are not separate from this idea of the self. So the self disappears and becomes the object. Then the objects disappear into their natural state, which is called clear light and voidness, and now you're back into the same level as nature itself. You are harmonious with the natural world. That's it. That's all this world has us here for. But at the same time, since you're maturing, you're developing certain attributes according to your karma that you can lessen the suffering of other people around you, your family, your friends, your relatives, your people you work with. You can lessen it. Why? Just by being a nice person, for instance. Interested in their well-being, not all about you all the time. And especially by not laying your judgments on them. Okay? That's where the trouble starts. Am I right? Does this sound good?
No.
Yeah, it gets you right in the heart. It goes right by the head. I mean, all the concepts are up here. But this goes right to the heart. The cause. So then the Lama comes along and says, well, I got some trick. Well, all the Lamas have trick. They're trained. They go into these long retreats, 10, 12, 15 years, like me, 40 months, night and day, night and day, night and day. They come out, they got certain abilities developed. So when I came out, I found out that I had a special ability to communicate what all this foreign Tibetan shamanistic Lamaism stuff is and what it's useful for us Western people. And what it's useful for is to train your mind to focus. Well, that's yoga, meditation. You know, like Hatha yoga, the Hindu tradition, has taken over America. They call it corporate yoga. It works. It's good. And luckily, it's not faith-based. Gets you away from that one. But it doesn't take you into the imaginary and mental application of the states that you experience with the body in Hatha yoga, which is you can relax and be peaceful and healthy. You're stretched, and you can do things you couldn't do before with your body and so forth. It's a big ego trip. I know that because my son's a Hatha yoga teacher. He's really good at it. He mixes it with Christianity, which is unbelievable. But in any case, so here we are doing this meditation and yoga in the Tibet tradition, and the Lama gives you these oral instructions. Okay, so one of the oral instructions that all the Lamas do is connect you to the breath. Sounds like Hatha yoga, because that's what they do in Hatha yoga. We have Hatha yoga too, but it's called prostrations. Kind of tough on you at first. You lay down and stand up. And you got to use your mental, you got to use your imagination, and you got to say something while you're doing it. It's not any easy practice. For instance, right now I can do 3, but with the condition of my feet, I can't do more than that. But when you do this practice with the breath, there are 2 ways to do it. One is called the ordinary method of just coloring the breath, white, red, and blue. Now the reason we picked 3 is because what we are training is the body, speech, and mind. So we color code the body, the speech, which is the energy of the body's exhale, which is all of your internal self. And then the home is like a repatterning of the breath going out. Like in Hawaii, we say, aloha, ha. Ha is powerful breath. It means healing. It means from my heart to you. You know, we do this shaka thing. The shaka, you always go like that. It's here. You put the thumb here, and my heart to your heart. So aloha in Hawaiian is very much like the ha in Tibetan. It means share your breath, share your power. Be helpful, kind, considerate. That's aloha. But we're doing the same thing. I'm showing you this because these three symbols that are here, Om, Ah, and Hum, is the second part of our breathing practice. And that's how they're written in Sanskrit. Now we're going to do the practice. So it's recommended that you sit comfortably in a chair, or if you like the cross-legged position on a cushion on the floor or wherever you are. What's most important is your back is straight. And the head slightly tilted, so you're lining up the energy centers within the body, so the central channel of your life force flows and spreads. Then your eyes are connecting to the base energy of the universe, which is right in front of your eyes, about arm's length in front. And you can grab it. It's called chi. You know? Like if I want to get a little more energy, I can reach out and grab some here. I have to use my imagination. I'm not just going to do it. I can reach out and grab some here. I can bring the two together like this, and I can compress it with my hand. I'm visualizing it. Then I can give it to Abby. You just, yeah. Or I could take some from out here. I could take some from out here and go like this. I can put it into my feet. Chi, prana. It's all around you. It's the life force of the universe. It's when you breathe it, that's what you're breathing in. It's called the elemental energy of the universe. Okay, so we visualize with the eyes open, back straight, head tilted, mouth closed, tongue resting against the palate, and breathe in white light. And visualize it coming in and filling our lungs. Then for a moment or more, it's up to you, if you can pause and let the red light energy of the elements of that air blast through your body. And you visualize this red light energy going all through you, even through your hair, nails. Then you exhale the result of those two energy programs as a sharing energy for everybody else, because everybody else is going to breathe the same air you are. Oh, a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that we're all interconnected just by the air element. It doesn't stop. It's always moving. It's karmic. Okay, so let's do that. Inhale the air and visualize it as white light. Fills your lungs. Pause for a moment and let the red light energy of those elements flood your body. Then exhale and see the blue light go out your nose, if you can breathe through your nose, and see it go everywhere. I like to visualize the sky. Everything goes to the sky, everything comes out of the sky. Inhale white light, absorption breath red light, exhale blue light. Now actually the energy is coming in not only with your breath, but it's also coming in through your eye. And the energy program to the eye is based on light and space. We say voidness. And that goes to this area of your body. We call it the heart center or chakra energy area. Inhale white light, absorption breath of the energy red light, exhale blue light sharing to space. And you practice this way till you single-pointedly hold that meditation. And you get so strong with it that you can do it outside of the formal session, integrated into your worldly activity. Then the second step in the Tibetan tradition is to empower oneself with the natural clarity of our innate state of consciousness that we call voidness or Mahamudra. To do that, then we integrate these three sounds, Om, Ah, and Hum, with the three light prana yoga breathing practice that we just did. But this requires more imagination and focus. So some people can do this and some people cannot. But if you keep practicing in an attempt to do what we're about to do, it will develop. And the simple process is to imagine the sound. So when you inhale the white light, you imagine the sound Om, which we know is the clear light state of the universe we call the life force energy. That's why so many traditions focus on this sound. Hinduism, for instance. Then the middle breath of absorbing the energy, we hear the sound Ah, that's that red light. And then when you exhale, the blue light Hum goes to everybody. This is the healing energy of the Ha. So inhale white light, fill your lungs, hear Om. Absorption breath spreading through the body, the energy, Ah. And the exhale to everybody, everywhere, Hum. It's blue light, like the sky. Now, why is the Om Ah Hum so important? Is because it communicates through what we call the initiation or empowerment. All of the 1,000 deities that are called sadhanas or pujas, which we practice in the Sutra and Tantra tradition in Tibetan Buddhism. And these three sounds are actually three mind-training Buddha energy fields, innate in our mind. And there's 5 altogether, but these 3 have to be activated for the other 2 to originate, to come into some usefulness. So it looks like this. The white Om, the red Ah, and the blue Hum are located in the upper part of your body. Now these 5 colored lights are just symbols of these 5 states of awareness. Now they are like the elements. They cannot be separated. But the usefulness of them being separated helps you integrate them into your worldly situation. For instance, healing, which is what this is all about. So it looks like this. But these 5 internal states of your natural mind are connecting to the 5 external states of the elements themselves, which are incorporated into everything. But they have the same color code. So there's no separation. Outside, inside. That's a concept that we got to get rid of. There is no difference. If we say samsara, that's the state of emotionality that we're all functioning in, judgmental mind. If we say nirvana, that's a state of peace. The religious organizations say heaven. But those 2 can't be separated. They're existing in your mind. So when you focus and use your imagination, you're propelling yourself into that state of peace. It's a nice place to be. Peaceful. Calm. No matter what's going on with your body, what's going on with the drama field around you, you're Mr. or Mrs. Cool. You're cooling your mind. The thing is we get fixated on peace. I mean, it is very nice, but that's only halfway. So once you get to that state of peace, now you want to use your imagination to bring this awareness away from the drama field into that state of peace. Oh, here's how you do it. Oh, we're going to introduce a practice with you. And it's called Manjushri. It's a request today from one of my students on the Big Island. He says he wants to be able to remember things. Well, this is a very good practice for training the memory, but also for developing clarity. So, this deity looks like this. It's actually Chenrezig with another aspect, but Manjushri. This was actually a living teacher too in India. So what this symbolizes is a bodhisattva with a sword, flaming sword raised in the sky like this. So he's taking the energy of the space of voidness and cutting through the conditioned existence, ignorance. In his left hand he holds a sutra text which says form is emptiness and emptiness is form, and this is we call perfect wisdom or prajnaparamita. It's called the Heart Sutra. So you take in this and cut through anything that causes you misunderstanding or ignorance, like these concepts I discussed earlier. Those are called ignorance. And then you mix it with this idea that form and emptiness are inseparable. Just like I said, samsara and nirvana are inseparable. It's like I said, outside and inside. So this deity is to bring your intellect, your intelligence, together with your clarity, your non-judgmental state of consciousness. That's all. And it does it. For instance, I mentioned how I was able to read Sanskrit text. I can still read Sanskrit text, but I don't understand 99.9% of what it is. I got to do a lot of Manjushri, I guess. So anyway, now we'll do the practice. I'll put this in front of the Buddha because all the deities are inseparable from the Lama and our Buddha nature. And we'll go to the practice of the Om Ah Hum with the breath. This is the actual transmission. This is called the empowerment. Breathe. Inhale white light. Hear Om. The energy of the elements spread through your body. Ah, red light. The exhale out the nose to fill space. The healing sound, Hum, blue light, like the sky. Once you start to settle, withdrawing your mind from worldly activities, become peaceful, then visualize your Lama in front. Just like I'm here illusory through the screen to all the people watching. You visualize the Lama life-size in front, I like to visualize Karmapa because he's a Buddha, but he's the head of the Kagyu lineage. Also, I like the Dalai Lama, as everybody knows him. But in any case, whichever Lama, man or woman you put in front, create that life force, lifelike, but made of light, like a hologram. Just as illusory as what you see on your TV, cell phone, or computer. Then, because you're breathing the Om, Ah, Hum, the Om is going to, you take your mind off the breath and visualize white light coming from the Lama's head into your head. This is the first transmission for your body. It's called the base empowerment. Then you visualize red light from the Lama's throat in front into your throat. This is the second empowerment. It's called the mantra empowerment for the speech. And then you visualize blue light coming from the Lama's heart chakra to your heart chakra. And this is the wisdom transmission of knowledge and insight, clarity coming together. Non-judgmental and the intellect in union. Then you see all three lights shining simultaneously. And when you can visualize that way, merge the Lama's holographic form into your body. Just bring the whole teacher into you, like water into water. Receive the empowerment by visualizing a white Om in your head, a red Ah in your throat, and a blue Hum in your heart chakra. Focus on the white Om as a sphere of white light in your head and see it move slowly down the central channel of your life force and merge with the Ah, red Ah in your throat. Then visualize that move downward and merge with the blue Om. Now you have all three together in the heart chakra. Shrink them in size gradually or all at once until you reach the smallest particle of light imaginable. And in that dimension, you're connecting to the boundless space and light as the fabric of the universe. So you can relax for a moment. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to make judgments. Just relax, be present. And this is the empowerment of the union. Of the natural state of the universe with your natural state of awareness. Then from that dimension, again with your imagination and focus working together, recreate that particle of light in the center of your heart chakra. Then visualize it increase in size to a small sphere of clear light. And as you enter into this dimension, our phenomenal world, increase it to the size of a small marble or grape. And inside, visualize a red D. Now, all of the 1,000 deities have their own creation symbol, which connects to the state of clear light, which was the particle. And these are called the state of maturity or the Buddha field. But this D is the creation sound of this mandala of Manjushri. And it is the sound of light itself in Sanskrit. For instance, inside your body you have thousands of channels of energy or light. Those are called nadis in Sanskrit. The D is the energy itself as it flows through these internal channels. And so we originate this sound as the sound of the light force of the universe as it exists in our microcosmic situation, our body. So make the sound D. Inhale. D. Now we're going to do it again, but this time visualize this. Looks like a U laying on its side with a hook over it. In the center of your heart in red light. It's actually white, but it emanates red. So visualize that in there, inside a 5-colored sphere of light. Inhale. Now, that's the Om Am Hum in the union of your natural mind being centered in your heart center, not in your head. But you're going to have to use the head for the imaginary process and focus to connect to it. Now you visualize the 5-colored light that surrounds it, and the light of the D goes out to your root Lama, and all the Lamas of the tradition you are following, in this case it's the Kagyu tradition, or all the Lamas of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, men and women, surrounding you in space. This is your support. And all the 1,000 deities we call Buddhas and Bodhisattvas also present. Then the light is captured into their heart center that you sent out, and from every direction, thousands of like laser lights are fired back into the D in your heart. When you receive that empowering transmission back, at that point you become Manjushri. And you're made of rainbow light, we could say illusory body, like a hologram. And just like this statue or that picture, you have this sword raised in the sky, your left and thumb and ring finger hold the stem of the lotus holding the Heart Sutra, Prajnaparamita. And you have a 5-jewel crown on your head, which is the 5, we say, states of awareness. Your legs are in full lotus, so you're in full discipline. And you have a kata around your neck, which is the way we give aloha in Tibetan, it's called honoring. And wearing 6 kinds of jewelry, that's the 6 disciplines. and 5 colors of silk symbolizing the mother energy of the 5 elements. And you're on a lotus, sun, and moon disk, the light force of the universe, all centered in your heart, but you visualize yourself in space, in the sky of your mind. And again, sound the D. D. And that completes the empowerment. Now we give you the second part. It's called the practice, the tantric practice of Manjushri. To perform this practice, you not only focus on the D and you as the deity in the rainbow body, illusory body, to replace your ordinary body, which you think is solid, fixed, and permanent, when it's not. And you project this image to your mother who created your body. So Manjushri in front, same as you. Mirror image. Then you project it to all your relatives, friends, and lovers, everybody you have karma with this life. In your mind, you see them. Then you keep creating and building in this mandala, in this stage of practice, so that you include all the 7.5 billion humans on this planet. And you get really wild with this, and you include all the animals in the ocean, on the land, and in your body, as Manjushri. And finally, you fill your mind with this symbol by including all of the spirit world that inhabits boundless space. Your mind. At that point, the heart mantra appears. This is the power of the practice. And these letters appear circling the D inside your heart, and they are stationary and they face outward. And each of these letters is a different color. Starting with the Om in front, clockwise. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. 10 letters around the D. So you're visualizing the D and these letters inside the 5-colored sphere. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Nadi Soha Omara Pata 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 Nadi Soha. So this is a three-part imaginary focus. You're focusing on the D with the mantra surrounding it and all the energy of that flooding your body as Manjushri. So the D and the mantra inside the five-colored sphere is the Dharmakaya. Your body is Manjushri, the Sambhogakaya. It's the training vehicle. And then projecting it to all sentient beings as your mothers, that's the Nirmanakaya of loving kindness, compassion, power, and insight of you as this deity inseparable from the Lama, any Lama. Omara Pata Nadi Soha 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 D. So the 9 letters, D is stationary like this. The D is standing on an 8-petal lotus sun and moon disk inside the 5-colored sphere. And around the D are the other letters of the mantra. Om, Hara, Patsa, Nam, So, Ha. So you visualize that, or all of the letters, including the D, but the D is going to be the creation sound. And that connects you to the natural mind so that your intelligence, your intellectual process, with this visualization merges with the energy field of clarity, which means beyond judgment. And in that position, you have like what we call Google. When you want to know something, you want to Google it. So that is the Google of this practice. And that brings the necessary information to you as the practitioner to bring your intelligence and your natural mind together in an appropriate way that creates information that you can understand. Also increases memory, also increases greatly good health. Physical, mental, emotional health, good health. So, now another point of this practice. The Manjushri has 3 extraordinary qualities that all the symbols possess, and all of the Lamas possess and transmit. And the first one is compassion. And when we say compassion, we mean impartially applied compassion or altruistic compassion. And that applied to all sentient beings in any rebirth situation, anywhere in the universe. We kind of treat this compassion like a family sharing program. The second is the insight itself, which connects us to the natural state of non-judgmental mind. And in that state, anything is possible. So you get out of this restricted energy program of the drama field and place yourself more and more in that capacity. And finally, these 2, compassion and insight, cause power to arise. Now, when we say power, we're talking about a spiritual application where you're not only benefiting infinite others, beings, you're not only creating this state of intelligence with clarity, but you're also overcoming all the obstacles of your own negative thinking and all the obstacles of outside interference. So this is very useful, very appropriate. So these three must be in place to reach maturity: compassion, power, and insight. And that's this Manjushri, or any deity of the Tibetan tradition. Om Ara Patsa Nadi Soha, 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 Om Ara Patsa Nadi Soha. That's not the text. Om Ara Patsa Nadi Soha, 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 Nadi Soha. Now we have the Manjushri Sutra text available to anybody that wants to do it as a sutra practice, which is pretty wordy, but it gets the point across of the devotional application of this extraordinary practice. But on the page that the mantra is on, Om Ara Patsa Nadi Soha, it says, we'll read this together at the top. This is on page 9 of this text. So this is a non-dogmatic transmission, which means it's an oral transmission that only the Lama can give, because the Lama does this practice. And it goes like this: not originating from any scriptural transmission, this secret path is the direct transmission instruction, not originating from cause. Its result is that being true to the ongoing nature of your being. Not originating from mundane mind, this is the sublime and the premortal awakened state of Buddhahood, which we call maturity. I pay homage to you and praise you, Sovereign Lord of all the Buddha family. Appearances, sound, and mundane mind, these three together are the deity, mantra, and the sphere of the true nature of reality. The deity, mantra, and this true nature of reality are called the Great Perfection. This is the union of intrinsic awareness and voidness. This union of intrinsic awareness and voidness is free of extremes. It is called inherent awareness. It's free and all-embracing. I repeat the secret mantra in a state without distraction, yet without any grasping, which means never become attached to the practice or the method of the practice or the result. Wow, that's a new way to practice. Keep your drama mind, your attachment out of this. Then say the mantra, be the deity, focus on the D and mantra together, and project that to Mother and all Mother beings. Om Ar Ra Pa Sa Na Di Soha. 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 Remember, you're just a body of light. Nothing solid, fixed, and permanent. illusory. This is illusory body mind training. Nadi Soha. Nadi Soha. Pata Nadi Soha. Nadi Soha. Nadi Soha. Arapata Nadi Soha. Now this is all called the creation stage of the practice. Now we're going to move to the fulfillment stage, which simply means disappear all of this mind training of the creation stage. You can do it all at once, but I prefer the simple method of bringing all sentient beings, imagining them in infinite numbers streaming into you as the central symbol, like water into a lake, like rain into a lake. Stage 2, disappear your symbol, Manjushri, the training symbol, into the mantra in your heart center. Then take the mantra symbols, starting with the Om, and one by one disappear them into the D, the red D. Then the D in a 5-colored sphere of light disappear into space, the clear light of space. And relax. There's no meditation. This is called your natural state. Simply be present and keep your awareness clear of judgment. At the end of the fulfillment session, you reappear as Manjushri for post-meditation, including this projection to all beings you have karma with, family, friends, enemies, and so forth, animals, everybody. And when you hear sounds, if you practice this enough, after a while, the Manjushri mantra will level out your judgment about sounds. So this sound is good, wonderful, or this sound is bad, awful. Start to lessen the judgment about outer and inner vibration. Now we're going to do a Guru Yoga practice. Part of a Guru Yoga practice called Rainfall of Blessing. And the reason we do this is you must understand that devotion to the Lama, any Lama, man or woman, takes you halfway to your innate state of awareness directly. And the rest is simply the practice to bring you to the fulfillment state. So when you do that, we have these various Guru Yoga practices. Each lineage has it. So this is a Kagyu lineage practice called Rainfall of Blessing. We'll chant the first part so that you get a little heart energy feeling for this. Alden Sawa Lama Rinpoche Dagi Chiwo Feme De Juma Kadrin Chenpo Gone Jejun Te Kuzun Tuki Gudu Salju So Glorious and precious Root Lama, residing on a lotus sun and moon seat above my head, with your immense kindness, please care for me and impart the realization of awakened body, speech, and mind. Next page. Homage. I and all sentient beings respectfully take refuge in the infinite aspect of the three jewels and the three roots. We practice this profound path of Guru Yoga so that all beings may realize enlightenment. And we say the mantra of avoidance. Om Shubhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Shubhava Shuddha Om. In creating this connection from the state of clear light called voidness, which is our natural state, we continue. I and all others imagine our forms multiplied as many times as there is atoms in the universe. Each of these forms bowing with respect before the Lama, embodiment of all sources of refuge. Clouds of limitless offerings, outer, inner, and secret, expand to all universes. And all these we offer to you. With intense regret, we reveal all our negative, obscuring acts, faults, downfalls, perpetuated since beginningless time, and resolve to avoid their repetition. We rejoice and delight in all virtuous action, be it conditional or unconditional, of samsara and nirvana. For the sake of all beings, our aged mothers who wander in darkness, please set ablaze the torch of the vast and profound teaching until all beings have attained your unsurpassable realization. Please remain immutable like a Vajra in your manifest form. To all beings we dedicate all the virtue of the three times, and may we all together attain the state of Vajratara, maturity. Precious Lama, essence of all Buddhas of the three times, please cause me to relinquish self-clinging for the sake of all beings. Please cause contentment to arise in my being. Please cause me to perfect the practice of the illusory body and dream state. Grant your blessing for the attainment of the supreme accomplishment, the clear light of Mahamudra, right now, immediately, in this very place. And we're going to skip over the next part, which is an actual practice you would do in sessions, and go to the last part, which is about the last 4 pages. It'll say 1 on it. About 4 pages in. And it says Namo Guru Bay at the top. Homage to the Lama. You lovingly care for all who have with you deep connections of karma and aspiration. You stir to the very depths this ocean of suffering that is called cyclic existence, and are the great charity that conveys us on the path of freedom and lasting happiness. Your kindness can never be repaid. Lama, consider us. You stop the beginning of the stream of karma, disturbing emotions and ignorance. You turn us away from the path of cyclic existence through establishing the 3 disciplines of body, speech, and mind. And you unite our mind with the Dharma through your maturing, liberating instructions. Among even the most supreme guides through the sovereign Lama, consider us. The flames of your wisdom consume this jungle of ignorance. You directly reveal the face of the Dharmakaya, awareness in itself, and place us in this very life in the royal domain of non-dual union. All-pervading Lord, Master of all enlightened aspects, Lama, consider us. Noble Lama, sovereign of infinite mandalas, Noble Lama, bestower of all accomplishments without exception, Noble Lama, source of all that is necessary or desirable. From the depths of our hearts we pray to you. Grant your blessing that I and all beings of the 6 realms, my aged mothers, may quickly be liberated from the swamp of misery that is cyclic existence. May we be inseparable from the state of relinquishment and the realization of the ocean of the accomplished Kagyu Master. May our minds merge with yours. Om Ara Pata Nadi Chora. Om Ara Pata Nadi Chora. Om Ara Pata Nadi Chora. Om Ara Pata Nadi. 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 Now that mantra shortened to that means all cyclic existence, all pain and suffering removed, and all the beings established in lasting happiness. Then we go to the natural mind, the clear light state of awareness itself, by just focusing on the D in our heart center and sounding the power of that with our speech, and then projecting that light everywhere to everyone. You can do it individually, collectively, or completely impartially, your choice. And it's like a flash of energy from your heart, healing, love, and kindness to everybody, everywhere. No exception. Focus on the D. D, 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 And we finish with a dedication prayer offering this state of natural awareness and non-judgmental mind. Everyone that we have karma with. Kewa di nurdu da, chagya chenpo dugye chowa ching ching malu pa, deyi sawa kopar so, sanjay kusha dimpai jimla da, choni nagar dimpai jimla da, kendu niche dimpai jimla ki, jitar goma mona ju shu. By this virtue, having realized Mama Buddha, and I quickly established all beings without a single exception in that state. Through the blessings of the Buddhas who attained the three bodies, through the blessing of the unchanging truth of the Dharma, and through the blessing of the unwavering aspirations of us, the Sangha, may this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. May all beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss through our practice and equanimity. May all the Lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. And to all sentient beings, especially the ones that we transmitted this on Zoom tonight, and all the humans on this planet, aloha, tuchi-te, mahalo. From all us fortunate beings here in Hawaii and Hawaii.